I'm going to bring it to the last part of the, I've showed you a number of things since I've been here, and again, to show you, I wanted you to see it visually because this is how real this is, how exact this is, about what did happen. And now, I'm going to bring this last part, I'm going to call it the Elul Factor.
Okay.
It says in the Bible, in Deuteronomy, it says at the end of every 7 years, you'll have a release of debts. So you will have a remission, the financial realm gets affected, there's a wiping out, a wiping clean. When does it happen? The end of the 7th year is the month of Elul. That's the last month on the civil calendar. Elul, leading up to Elul 29. Now, we already saw in some of the last Shemitahs, it was so precise that actually on the day you have the greatest crashes, period. But the overall pattern, thing, you have Elul, the month of nullification. So the question is now, first of all, we've talked about the overall crashes, we talked about the collapse of trade, commerce, industry, production, all that. Did the Shemitah of 2015 actually see great day crashes, day collapses there? Well, listen to the answer of this. 20% of the worst stock market day crashes in history happened in the Shemitah of 2015. 20% of them.
Wow.
20% happened in this Shemitah. 20% of the greatest crashes of that. And we're going to get even more specific. 20%. And actually, if you go a little bit more than the top 10, you got 30%. You have 3 of the top 10 crashes ever. Now, but when you get to the end of the Shemitah, this Elul period, you often have some, didn't have to happen, but you have some dramatic things happening in world history. Attack of 9/11 happens the last week of Elul. This is the time of nullification. World War II comes to its conclusion last week of Elul of the Shemitah, of the 7-year Shemitah, just like 9/11. The Shemitah of 2001 sees the greatest collapse in history the last week of the Shemitah Elul. So the 2008. Now, I've noted throughout the year when people ask me about that, I said, well, again, God, you can't put God in a box. But the pattern is that it tends to, if you're looking for dramatic tends to happen at the end of the Shemitah, at this period, this Elul, this period. Well, when is this Elul period? This year, when was it? It began in August. August. Did anything interesting happen in August? Well, I want you to see this now. Look at, first you're going to see is the German stock market. Now look at the pink there. The pink isn't the Shemitah. The whole thing is the Shemitah. Pink is the month of Elul, right there. Now we're narrowing it down to the month. Look what happens to the stock market when Elul comes. This is how specific it is. This is the culmination of the Shemitah. Look what happened to the British market. Once Elul, it's already coming down through the Shemitah, but look what happens once Elul comes. Let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial, Wall Street. It's going down from the Shemitah. Look what happens when Elul comes.
Ooh.
Crash. Let's look at the next one.
Major.
That is China. China's already been crashing, one of the greatest of the Shemitah, but Elul, another one there. What happens? Notice when everything happened, it was August. Notice what you had. Black Monday. China's Black Monday. Let's actually put up some headlines. This would happen all in Elul. This happened in the Elul of the Shemitah, all across the world. If you remember it, global Dow plummets, the worst intraday crash in Wall Street history, Elul. Global markets all collapse on Elul. Everything went crazy. Hundreds of billions wiped out in Elul. In fact, when I told you that 20% of the greatest crashes happened in the Shemitah, it wasn't just that. 20% of the greatest crashes in the history of Wall Street happened in the month of Elul of the Shemitah. I mean, 20% in the month of Elul. Now, I'm going to show you some last things here, but I want you to see it because it's very striking if you realize what's going on here. Now, this is the last ones we're going to show. This is going to be the top 10 day crashes in Wall Street history. If you take it statistically, how many of those greatest 10 crashes should happen in the year of a Shemitah? It should actually be, statistically, if nothing's going on, 1 out of 7, we should see. In a moment, we're going to light up yellow if any of these happen during the year. It should be about 1 should be in yellow. But let's see what happens. 70% of the top crashes in history happened in the year of the Shemitah, or at the climax of the Shemitah. 70%. Actually, can even add another one. One of them happened in the same year, which is 2000, which was the year of Shemitah. Right before it, that would be 80%. 70%, the majority happened, only a minority happened in a non-Shemitah year. Now, see that what I'm going to show you, what you just saw, you're going to see it on a graph that's going to show you where those things happen, and the pink is the Shemitah. Those are the last 3 Shemitahs. Look at the greatest crashes. Look at where they happen in the Shemitah. Now I'm going to show you one last thing here now. What the next thing you're going to see is going to be The top is, we saw 7 of those crashes. 70% of the top crashes, you're going to see them right now. Just look at them. Those are 70% of the top crashes in world history, Wall Street history, right there. That's the last 14 years or 15 years, whatever, or actually from the 90s. There they are. Now, in one moment, before I want you to see what we're going to do. One moment, we're going to take not just the month, we're going to take Elul 29, the day of nullification. We're going to put it on that graph, and to see how close the 70% of the greatest crashes happened to the day that God appointed. Put up the graph.
Wow.
Every single one of them happens within 99% to 100% proximity to the day God appointed to wipe out the financial realm. And when I came the first time, I mean, when I came a little while back, I couldn't even, that last part is 2015. It showed up just as well. There, nothing before it, but at 2015. So the same way, so that's how precise this thing is. That's how precise it was. And 2015, it happened just as well. And you have 2 of those greatest crashes right in there.
My.